All right, there we go. Good morning, Dr. Tom Larkin here with Roberta Weber. Roberta, I met Roberta 3 years ago. Did you come to Kentucky first, or did I meet you in New York? I don't remember.
Actually, we met in New York first.
Okay.
That's when you were here. Remember, we're at the airport together.
There you go. Then you came to the preventative
breakfast.
Okay, her resume is going to be on the website. It's too long to waste 20 minutes explaining how special she is. I hand selected her under the category of HR, but it's actually going to be much more than HR because you have been through stuff. Okay, and that's one of my requirements for this project is you know, I always comment that there are just so many rank amateurs on Facebook telling young dentists and they have no qualifications. When you have massive qualifications, a massive resume, and I'm so honored to have you in this project. And so one of the areas that I want to focus with you specifically, but obviously you're going to go other places too, because your playbook is very deep like mine, but is in HR, because I see things evolving. It's like you said earlier offline, we don't really know what this is going to look like in 3 months or 4 months, but I suspect, here's my suspicion with HR, and that's why I want somebody as experienced, as smart as you, because we're going to be developing protocols and recommendations on the fly. Okay, there is not a handbook for post-pandemic, right? But my concern is that when a team member has as much as a common cold, whereas it's something that they usually could work with or be out a day or two, now they may be out an extended period. They may require testing, 2 negative tests to come back. I don't know what that looks like. No one knows what that looks like, but I know that the common cold is going to be taken completely different, right? So you take the average dental office, let's just say it's a solo practice, missing a team member, it's impactful, right? Even any size office. So that is, I have a huge concern with what that would look like. So some of the things I know that you'll probably be addressing is cross-training, right? The importance of cross-training, right? So, anyway, so part of your resume is, we talk about, you know, living through some stuff, 9/11 and Hurricane Sandy, and rescuing some dental practices. Talk to me about that resume.
All right, so let's start back there. So yes, been in dentistry for 30 years plus, so I'm aging myself. I was consulting and, you know, coaching practices through September 11, right in New York City. So New York and New Jersey, this is my home base. I leave New Jersey just like 10 miles away from New York. So it was incredible, just kind of like getting everybody into a safety container where everything was so unknown and unpredictable. And for the first time, our stability, it got overcompensated with fear. You know, how do we get home? What's happening in the practices? And way back then, there was no cell phones. There was no easy communication. Internet was not something that it was available for everybody. But it gave me a big awareness about how do we think outside the box? How are we able to coexist on the presence of the unknown?
Right.
Because everything that we have taught, that I've learned and I teach my clients, is always how to create systems. So now I think what we're facing is exactly that. There's no system that has been pre-created.
Right.
You know, the future is going to happen. It's going to get molded on the day-to-day, including, as you're referring to, having cross-training. Same thing happened with, you know, Sandy happened. A lot of my clients, South Jersey, they have no home. I had doctors that couldn't get back to her house for 3 months. Now foreseeing that people did not have somebody to take care of the kids so they can come to work. So we had to work with with the skeleton staff. Sometimes the space had been limited dramatically because we're borrowing space from another practice. Like I had one in my office, they were right by the water, beautiful golf course. On every room you could look at the water. The whole thing got flooded like 2 feet. So losing all the computers, database and everything, and being able to sustain with that situation. So, I mean, this is obviously different, but there's a lot of similarities, right? The way we're managing. And I think that it goes back to, it is relationships, it is communication. How the people who are willing to rise to the occasion, be willing to be cross-trained, be flexible with the hours.
Yeah.
We might need to be working extended hours weekend to accommodate patients needing care, which would be a great thing if we have those patients there are comfortable to get back to the dental practices.
Right. So let's talk about safety, because you and I both perceive the dental office is going to have to feel safe to the consumer, because the consumer at this moment is unidentified. We don't really know. The consumer is fearful, they're nervous, but we don't know what that looks like coming back to the dentist, what questions they're going to ask. Let's talk about that.
I think the word safety, it's going to be must. Everything that we're doing in a dental practice from the standpoint of the overall appeal, the cleanliness, the protocols for sterilizations have already been in place. But
right.
First thing I believe is we have to declutter everything.
Okay.
We want to make sure that everything it's a very open, organized, the protection gears, everything has to be in all the time just so that patient feels that there's safety there.
Right.
A second thing is educating. What are we doing with our air filters? What are we doing to the ozone options and many other things to disinfect the office on a daily basis, so they know that this environment is safe to come to. The second is the emotional component that I believe has to do with, do I trust the person that I'm going to? So that's why now more than ever, not only the providers, the doctors, but their team, they should be spending every minute of the day reaching out to their patients. How are they doing? The elderly people, do they need support at home? People that are under treatment. We are here for you. We care for you. This is all the things that we're doing to ensure you they can be safe when you come to the office. So that combination of, safety and also the fact that somebody cares about me.
Right. So this is really an opportunity for those people who really understand, delivering exceptional care, as opposed to just some random corporate entity that might be a little bit more impersonal. Now we really have a distinct competitive, and we're taking back some advantage.
Big time. This is going back to connection, caring, being present, making each patient an individual versus a patient list.
Right.
It's no longer about I have 3,000 patients on my list.
Right.
It's individually, what each family needs. That happens so much with Sandy, because knowing the intimacy of those families and who was out of work and where they were located, and even the financial policies.
Yeah.
How we're going to modify this and really create an appreciation and make it affordable for those patients to get the basic care.
Yeah, see, that's a whole nother level that, as we talk, another level comes up. The patient's not only going to be emotionally bruised, they're going to be financially injured, right?
Huge.
And so this whole concept of meeting someone where they're at, I love that term of meeting a patient where they're at. Mm-hmm. So if you come back here and you're not empathetic to their plight, and in 2008, the dentists who were very arrogant and came back and continued to present the huge treatment plans like nothing happened, those were the people that went bankrupt, right? Because they just weren't respectful of the fact that people were hurt. So yeah, these are all skills, man. I am so thrilled for you to be a part of this. You're going to be a big contributor to this community, and as we go along. So I thank you for the introduction, and I really look forward to people. Feel free to reach out on her page. There'll be a form there where you can reach out, and then we'll be doing some education stuff going forward. So thank you so much for participating.
My pleasure, Dr. Larkin. It's always a joy every time that we speak, and anything that I can do to help our community, I'm here for you.
Perfect. Thank you.